by tear gas the way we always have. They don't know.
But I'm like the perfect guy to be single because
Creating ways for men to come together.
boom, here we are. Let's go. Boop, boop, boop. Start with some deep belly breaths. Out with a sigh. Deep belly breath. Out with a sigh. Deep belly breath. If you're listening, rate, share, subscribe. If you're listening, share with people. Share with people. We want to connect with you. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. It is just to connect with others. There you go, Carson, really doing the breathing with me. Thank you, girl. As you should. Period. Yeah, man. We're just trying to connect with you. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. You know, it's a beautiful thing. That's what we're all craving. You know what I mean? Everybody who's posting on social media is reaching their hand out, saying, "Please like me. Please like me. Please think I'm cute. Please think I'm funny. Please think I'm thoughtful." It's interesting how social media presents the illusion of connection. You think that you're like, there's people who I see who I know everything about their life, just about everything they share. I know what's going on. I know about their kids. I know about their vacation. It's the illusion of connection, but I don't know them at all. It's looking in someone's eyes. It's shaking their hand and feeling their hand. That tactile feedback, that proprioceptive feedback of touching one hand, touching another, wrapping your arms around someone, feeling their body tangibly. You know, we're really out here living. Social media provides an illusion of connection. It's the illusion. Thanks for the love. I love your big, bold heart. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I'm definitely bold. Definitely have a bold heart. So I appreciate that. But the illusion of connection, even this podcast is it's I wish I could reach through the screen and hold your hand. I wish I could reach through the camera and hold your hand. But this is the best we can do. We can reach people all over the world. We have people, you know, Canada is our biggest listener. Some of our biggest listeners are in Canada. And for whatever reason, it resonates there. You know, it's just want to reach my hand out and touch you. I want to connect with you. That's all I've ever wanted, man. That's all I've ever wanted. You know, if I'm being real with myself, right? One thing I've learned how to do, and one thing I'm good at, is like, okay, so I lost my temper a couple days ago. You know, I have a temper. I have a temper, and how that translated in my addiction was, you can catch these hands. You can catch these hands, son. You know, I wasn't pretending. I wasn't a pretend tough guy. You could catch these hands. And I had a bad temper and I would punch anybody in the face that I wanted to. Stop me. Say something disrespectful. You know, catch this smoke. But I don't do that anymore. I did actually threaten to kill somebody when I was about a year and a half sober. This guy was talking shit about me. And I had a dumbbell in my hand. And I looked him in the eye and I said, I'm gonna beat you to death with this dumbbell right now. But that was right off the street. That was fresh off the street. I was just off the street. Just off the street. That's not what, obviously, that's almost a decade ago. That's a long time ago. I was 24. Just a kid. But yeah. I have a temper, so I lost my temper the other day. But what I was able to do is, first of all, make amends immediately. clear it up immediately. We don't leave any open cases out here. When you fuck up, you take responsibility for it and you formally make amends, not apologize. I don't want to hear your I don't I some people even say it to me like they'll make their amends and they'll be like, but I want to say sorry. Never. It's never sorry. It's always an amendment. It's always making it right. It's never sorry. So I made it right. I took ownership of it, took full ownership. I said, I lost my temper. There's never an excuse to lose my temper in that way. I can always communicate this clearly using my words, articulate my words, and clearly convey a point. I can always do that. There's no need to lose my temper in this way. And I took full responsibility for it. But what I've been able to do, this is emotional intelligence. What you're able to do is you have an activation. You're activated. So boom, at the top of the chart, you got your activation. Then you go down, you draw a line down, and you draw what happened what were you feeling? What were you feeling prior to the activation? What were you talking about prior to the initial activation? What were you talking about? Were you talking about money? Were you talking about an issue with a friend? Were you talking about work? So you draw it back to draw another line. So now we're extrapolating. We go, okay, activation. What were you talking about? What was the trigger? Okay, now we break it down. So why was this conversation triggering? Are you under pressure? Who put you under that pressure growing up? Who put you under that pressure? Is it pressure you put with work? Is it pressure you put yourself under? Okay. If that's a stem, why do you put yourself under that pressure? Where did that come from? Who put you under the pressure and made you think? Who put that responsibility or the over responsibility on a child that now translates into pressure as an adult that you put on yourself? Okay, that's one angle. Who put that pressure on you? Was it your parents? Was it your parents having you overachieve, making you so you overachieve? So you put that pressure on you, so then you subsequently feel like you're underachieving, and then you subsequently work is the pressure of work is getting after you, and ultimately you lose your temper because you're thinking about this whole line of thought, and this is all subconscious. This is all happening in the subconscious. All of these things playing out. So for me, right now, I'm saving for a house, paying off debt, paying for tuition, saving for tuition for my kids, um, and trying to run a business. Money and abundance is this year. This year, I get to receive this year. I get to receive this year, and I am receiving this year. It's starting out to be an abundant year. It's going to be an abundant year, but there's delicate knobs being turned, and the idea of talking about money right now is like, let's not fucking talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Don't you hate talking about that shit? Like, let's not talk. Let's just let things be what they are. Let me handle my fucking business, and let's not talk about it. Where does that tension come from? When my son's mom and I met, I was broke. I was broke. And when you're broke and you have a kid, that woman will let you know. She will let you feel all that. She will let you feel all that shit. And I felt all that. I lived in a trailer, a bug infested trailer in El Cajon, and we were broke. There was one weekend where we spent the weekend together while she was pregnant, and all we could afford was I went to the grocery store, bought half a pound of turkey, a pound of cheddar cheese, bread and butter, and sourdough bread and butter, and that's what we ate for every meal that weekend. A whole loaf of bread. That's how broke we were. That's how broke we were. So when you're broke like that, that feeling, and I'm a positive motherfucker. I've taken all of my process in stride, because I know this promise for my life. Like I have clear vision, right? That's one thing about me. I have clear vision. Even with this podcast, I've questioned whether we continue to do the podcast, right, man? I've questioned it, but really, we do this shit. There's no stop. We're not stopping. We're not stopping unless Matt says he's not doing it anymore. But we're not stopping. There's clear vision in front of us. It's clear vision in front of us. So I had clear vision during this time of being broke, and I understood that this is the piece of the journey that I just had to be on. And I understand I'm faithful to God, and I understand that you wait on God. Wait on God. He'll bless you. In some ways, I'm still waiting for the fullness of my promise. But when there's no finish line, there's only there's only peaks where you go look at the mountain. Look at look how far you've come. All right, now let's move to the next level of the mountain. And are you ever on the mountaintop? Who knows? Jeff Bezos is still making money. I don't know if there's ever a mountaintop. I don't know if there is. Anyway, we were broke. So having a conversation about money triggered, like having a conversation about money, losing my temper, talking about money, because I'm under this pressure, extrapolated down to feeling the pressure, over the last like 7 years with my ex, and the struggles I've had with money as a kid, my relationship to money as a kid, and just breaking it down all the way, and then the not being good enough, and the pressure, and the feeling of being a failure, because I'm not a millionaire. I'm not making everything's not working the way I want it to. I'm 32. I'm grinding. I'm out here grinding. Every day, grinding. So point is, let's title it together. This has got it's got a little choppy. Point is, what emotional intelligence is to look at your activation, look at your trigger. No, look at your activation point. Let's call it an activation point. Look at your point of activation. You lose your temper, you are crying, you yell, you spank your kid. That is the experience that you have. So draw a line down to like, what were you talking about? What were you experiencing? My kid was stomping on my floor, and when he stomps on this floor, it shakes the whole house. So before I lost my temper, he was stomping on the floor. Okay, so you draw that line down. Then you draw the line down again. Why is him stomping on the floor agitating you? Because loud noises are very triggering due to my past being yelled at, hearing my name being yelled at. So now loud noises in general are very triggering to me. They get me very tense. So that tension that I felt led me to an outburst, towards my son, because I felt that tension. I felt that tension from that loud noise that triggered me from 25 years ago. So you break down, and then you can keep thinking about it. Like, where does that come from? Like my sex stuff, and I can break it down in a very linear pattern, working backwards. Right now, I'm hyposexual. I'm very conservative sexually, and then I work back a couple years, hypersexual. Actually, in the middle, sexual, but sexual, but still not in integrity. Trying to figure out what my sex life would be like. So in the middle, still acting out, but not fully acting out in a very detrimental way. And then I go back, full sex addiction for 6 years. Go back to full sex addiction. Go back, follow that sex addiction back. When was the first time I was hypersexual? Oh, and let's go back. What is my identity with sex in my teenage years? People thought I was gay. So when they would say I was gay, so going all the way back up, maybe I was proving to myself that I wasn't gay by being hypersexual. Maybe I was proving a point. Let's go back. Where does that fear of homosexuality come in? I was molested as a kid, and the guy whispered in my ear, "You're gonna be gay when you grow up." Even though I like girls my entire life. So I just followed this straight line all the way back. So my sexual identity now and my relationship to sex now is traced all the way back to when I was 8 years old, and Ryan molested me and sexually groomed me. Being able to trace it back. It's emotional intelligence, understanding where things come from and not being governed by them. I could talk about them very casually. Talk about all this stuff very casually. I don't have a lot of shame behind it. The most frustrating one is the money one, because I work really hard and it never ends, you know? It never ends. Like today I had to buy new tires. Just had to buy new tires. You know what I mean? Like it's just sometimes it's like that. It's just like, fuck. Just gotta drive for $600, $700. Right? You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just fucking like that. And you're trying to save money. You're trying to save money. You're trying to like, cut costs. You're trying not to eat out. You're trying to not go shopping. I don't go shopping at all. All I do is eat out. That's my thing. And I know if I eat out, I can save hundreds of dollars a month. But I save $100 a month, but then my fucking tires, like my windshield's cracked. Now I need new windshield. It's another $500. It just never ends, and that's the frustrating piece. And I have two tuitions coming up, 10 grand each. I got $20,000 tuition due by August. It's real. It's real in the field. Anyway, point is, let's tie it back together. Understanding your trigger point, understanding your activation point, understanding the trigger and tracing it back. Tracing it back to the root cause. And when you get to the root cause, that's how you can hear that inner child, as Food King says. That's how you hear that inner child. You heal that root cause. You heal that root cause. You start to understand that root cause, understand that child, understand that part of you, forgive that part of you. Who's Straight Krusty? What's your name? How you been, my dude? Haven't talked to you since Newport. Who are you? What's your name? But heal that root cause. Heal that root cause. Do the work. Do your work. Do your work. Don't skip the line. Do your work. So vasectomy's healed up pretty good. Still got 16 more nuts to go before I'm in the clear. Yeah, I don't trust it. I don't trust it yet. It would be so fucked if I get my partner pregnant right in between. That'd be so fucking whack. That would be so fucking whack. Yeah, that'd be so whack. But yeah. Yeah. Vasectomy's healing up nice. In the middle of a fast. I was not in the middle of, just started a fast. Isn't it Lent? Yeah, we're fasting for Lent. So we got 40 days of fasting. I'm not Catholic, but we fasted for Ramadan last year. We're gonna fast for Ramadan again this year. So I like to fast during these holidays. For me, we're gonna talk about spiritual disciplines. We haven't done a podcast on that in a while, right? About like just the gaining by taking away. The gaining by taking away. So what we're fasting is from sun up to sundown, no no meat, no meals, no like real meals from sun up to sundown. Only vegetables. Only vegetables. And not even like hella meals of vegetables. We're talking about one meal of sauteed vegetables. That's all we're eating. No tofu, not even tofu as a protein. Just like I made shiitake mushrooms, squash, asparagus, onions, minced garlic, zucchini, and sauteed that with liquid aminos. That's it. That's the one meal I had today. And fruit and fruit and vegetables. That's it. That's the extent of what we're doing. And then at the end when sun goes down, you can have a meal. You can have a meal. And we're gonna stay vegetarian, so no meat. Maybe add fish. Maybe add fish in those meals, but we're being pretty strict from sun up to sundown. With what we I didn't realize how much boredom eating I did. Just eat because I'm bored. Do a lot of that because like I'm hungry, but I'm not like that hungry, you know. But those spiritual disciplines, man, they're hard. They're hard. This is gonna be hard. We're only on day 2. This is gonna be hard. But we're gonna learn. I want to learn about myself. And when you remove, and when you come up against those cravings, you add God. You add your goals and ambitions. You lean on faith. That's the point. Otherwise, just a diet. But instead of eating, you pray. Instead of eating, you meditate. Instead of eating, you read literature. Educate yourself. Or for my partner and I, it's very goal oriented. Oh, I gotta scratch my balls. Yikes. You know, you get that ball scratch that you have to scratch. Like some scratches you could like let go, but that ball scratch where it's like this needs to happen right now. That was one of those. It's one of those bad boys. Um, but yeah, you learn by taking away. So fuck it. Fuck if you wanna if you're not a Christian and you don't want to fast for holiday, try fasting in general. Try being abstinent for a month. Abstinence is my favorite thing to fast. Sex is my favorite thing to fast because you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about yourself and you maintain a lot of spiritual energy when you um are abstinent. I was absent. I've done periods of abstinence. Last year I did probably 2 or 3 periods of abstinence, the longest being 4 months. As long as being 4 months. I love abstinence. I only want to have sex when it is spiritually aligned with my heart and soul. It's the only time I want to be sexually active for the rest of my life. That's the extent of my sexual activity. I don't want to be frivolous with my sex life. And that's coming from a sex addict who I've said this out loud. Fucking was like eating. It's just something you do. Having sex was just like it's just something I do. It's just another thing that I do. That's what sex was like. I said that out loud actually. Isn't that crazy? It's like it's just another thing. Just another thing. And now it's something sacred. Something sacred. Anyway. So shout out to all the men. Let's talk to the men right now. So actually, and women, if you're listening, to all my ladies, if you're listening, or female identifying, if you're listening, tell your men you're proud of them. Tell your men you're proud of them. Men are under immense pressure. Men are under immense pressure. Yeah, women are oppressed. Yes, women are oppressed. Women don't commit suicide at the same rate. Women don't experience violence at the same rate. Women don't experience mental health challenges at the same rate. Women don't die on the job at the same rate. Women don't have heart attacks at the same rate. Women die approximately 6 or 7 years after men. Men are living hard. We're living hard lives. We have a lot of fucking pressure, dude. Matt, don't you agree with me? A lot of fucking pressure, dude. It's a lot of fucking pressure. It's a lot of fucking pressure, dude. It's no joke. So have compassion. And honestly, if I was like a cis white male, that'd be different. It'd be different to complain. But even cis white males, you're under the same pressure I'm under. I just have a little extra black pressure. You know, I can get killed by the cops. You know what I mean? One of my clients assaulted an officer, but the officer said it was an accident, so they're letting him off. If I assaulted an officer by accident, they would shoot me. They would fucking kill me. So it's yeah. It's just pressure. It's just pressure. So women, tell your men you're proud of them, no matter where they are in their lives, doing their best. Just tell them you're proud of them. Pour into your men, and you know what? Men, pour into your women. Pour into your women. Empower her. Empower her. Don't ever put her down. I will never put my son's mom down. I will never put my son's mom down. I am her biggest cheerleader. To my son, whatever mom needs, let's get whatever mom needs. My current partner, I'm empowering her. She has an idea, she has a business idea. Okay, how are we figuring this out? How are we gonna invest back into this? What's the business plan? What's the business model? Come on the podcast. Let's talk about it. She'll be on the podcast in just a few weeks, probably next week. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your business. Let's organize it. Let's get it structured. Empower your loved ones. Empower your women. We should be each other's biggest cheerleaders. Let that bitch breathe. Empower each other. A friend of mine was talking about the father of their child, how he insults her. He insults her character. If people are insulting you and disrespecting your character, talking shit about you, if people are talking shit about you, think of it like this. Do you think winners are doing that? You think LeBron James is talking shit and shitting on his wife's character, even shitting on anybody's character in text messages and DMs, in the comments? You think Derek Jeter's doing that? You think any of the greats are doing? Winners aren't doing that. Winners don't do that. Winners don't do that. Winners don't talk shit about other people behind their back. Winners don't character assassinate. So if you have people character assassinating you, talking shit about you, of course, maybe you should take a look at you. Maybe you should take a look at you. That's my response. Like if people are talking shit, that's feedback. That's also feedback. Like what am I doing? But also, if they're not addressing you and they're talking shit about you, if they're telling lies, that's not what winners do. It's not what winners do. Winners empower each other. Winners motivate. Winners are role models. Winners are leaders. If someone sent me a text message with some insulting ass shit, I would be like, "How dare you?" It's 2022. Is this really what we're still doing? Insulting people? That's crazy to me. Like it's so unacceptable, right? That behavior is so unacceptable. You disagree with somebody, you talk it out. You don't like somebody, you express it. You tell them why you don't like them. You tell them what your beef is, and you try to talk it out. It's fucking 2022. But to attack someone's character, talk behind someone's back, at this point in our lives, that's not what winners do. Come on. Let that bitch breathe. I honestly feel bad. Like someone called me a nigger a couple years ago and talked about it ad nauseum, and I'm over it. I'm never really like super struck by it. I just when it happened, I mentioned it on social media just to let people know. People still calling each other nigger out here. I just wanted to like put it out there, not because I was like crumbled by it, but just because you just got to know this is the world we live in. But I could have beat the shit out of this guy, right? That's what I would have done in the past. You could ask any of my friends. I've punched a lot of motherfuckers in the face who have called me a nigger. I punched a guy in the face. He flew down a flight of stairs. One time, these two kids in Whitestone screamed, "Fucking get out of the city! Get out of town, nigger!" I found both of them separately on separate occasions. Found both of them in the neighborhood and beat the shit out of both of them. Got their ass whooped. Each of them got their ass whooped separately. So for me, back in the day, if you called me that, you were getting your ass beat, and it wasn't gonna be like, oh, it wasn't gonna be like, oh, we're gonna get into a fight. No, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I'll probably open hand slap the shit out of you. That was old me. Currently, adult Eric, if you're still calling people the N-word in 2022, you're just not doing good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm immediately gonna think like you're just not doing well. You're not doing well. You don't need me to beat you up. You're just not. You're gonna go home and like kick your dog. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing well. You know, if you're still calling people names, if you're calling your wife or your girlfriend or your partner names, like if you're calling her a bitch, you're not doing well. Your mental health is struggling. Fuck, you can't. That's crazy. That's crazy to be doing at this point. At this point in our lives, I'm 32. Imagine me calling somebody outside their name. Jeez Louise. Or shaming people, making fun of people, embarrassed, talking shit about people, like making jokes about people in front of people, trying to shame people, embarrass people. Come on. We are grown. It's just all that behavior, that character assassination, and that toxic behavior towards one another. That shit is quiet. That shit is all the way quiet. And if someone's still doing that behavior, they're not doing well. That's it. That's enough of that. How we doing on time? 35? Damn. Just went on a rant about fucking losers. I hate to say losers. That's what it is. We need Joe Rogan talks about it all the time. We need less losers. So how do we have less losers? More education, more information, more culture. Like, get to know more, introduce more people who are not like you to one another. Get to know more people who aren't like you instead of looking over the fence being like, those motherfuckers are doing this. You know, if you're a Democrat, talk to more Republicans. If go to school, listen to a podcast or a few. We need less losers. I mean, less Twitter fingers. When you, I got some super hateful. I got some a super hateful DM. I've gotten a few of those super hateful DMs, from people, and they hurt. They hurt my feelings. If I didn't know if I saw the comments, I don't read comments on YouTube. I don't read any comments. Like, what am I gonna get from that? I don't read any comments on YouTube, but comments on Instagram, they automatically pop up as notifications. And sometimes I'll get a shitty comment, but sometimes I get shitty DMs. Someone called me a narcissist. You think I'm a narcissist? I don't think I'm a narcissist, man. I don't think so. I care a lot about other people. And I take responsibility for myself. A narcissist will gaslight you in thinking that when they did something wrong, that you did something wrong. And here's what I will say. Here's my and because I do, and we'll end on this. I get frustrated because every woman says their ex-boyfriend's a narcissist. How often do you hear that? He's like, he was a narcissist. And let's just say this. Instead of saying he's a narcissist, let's be genuine about the mental health diagnosis that you're putting on this person, because you're putting a genuine mental health diagnosis on this person. It's a personality disorder that you're saying that this person has, which I doubt that everybody's ex-boyfriend has a personality disorder. Let's express that he was just shitty because he didn't like you, or you didn't like him, but he probably didn't like you when he was shitty to you. Isn't that more likely the case? He just didn't like you. So he's not a narcissist. He just was shitty because you weren't it. It's not excusing the shitty behavior, but it's saying stop. Don't just throw out a personality disorder over every dude who doesn't like you. And then I'm not talking about the abusive men. I'm not talking about the abusive men and the ones who like really emotionally abuse women, because there's a lot of that and there's no excuse for that. But emotional abuse is interesting because, like, if I'm dating someone and they silent treatment me, they don't want we have a problem and they don't want to talk about the problem, so they don't answer the phone and they give me the silent treatment. That's emotional abuse, isn't it? That's emotional abuse. But also, if I am talking at someone and like gaslighting them, that's emotional abuse. Women are emotionally abusive too. Very much so. Women, I would say, are more manipulative and emotionally abusive than men. I'm going to generalize. Women manipulate the situation using sex and using money and using lots of the tools to manipulate situations. Men are more physically abusive. Men do a lot of gaslighting. Men do a lot of cheating. But emotional abuse, women are doing a lot of that. But there's always when I speak about one thing, I speak conversely. So yes, women may be emotionally abusive. There's toxic femininity. There may be a hella emotional abuse in women, but there's hella physical and emotional abuse in men as well. Both genders do it. Both genders do it. But in my experience, I've dealt with a lot of emotional abuse from women. I think people are using the tools that they have. Right? People are using the tools that they have to get what they want. People using the tools that they have to get what they want. You know. Anyway, we talked about a lot of shit today. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. If you're talking shit about people, cut it out. Cut it out. It's 2022. It's not. LeBron James is not doing that. Steph Curry is not doing that. Like, Jay-Z is not doing that. Kanye might, but Kanye's kind of a loser too. He's a winner, but he's kind of a loser at the same time. Because just people who behave that way aren't. Yeah, people who behave that way winning. You're not winning. You're not winning. Or you are winning, and maybe you don't deserve to be winning the way you are. If you're using your powers for good. if you're using your powers for evil. That's the thing with Kanye. I love Kanye West. I grew up on Kanye. Like I can rap I can rap almost. I can go through Kanye's whole discography, which I have a Kanye playlist of every Kanye song, every Kanye album that I loved, growing up. I could play so much Kanye and love so much Kanye. But Kanye's kind of the evil villain. He's the evil genius. I love his music, but he's harmful for the community. I think Kanye is bad for culture. I think Kanye is bad for culture because he presents and promotes hateful and disempowering information. He's if he's empowering anybody, he's empowering himself. Not a role model. I don't want my kid growing up seeing Kanye West and wanting to be anything like that. But I love Kanye's music. I love Kanye. Anyway. All right, let's wrap it up. We're fucking out of here. If you're listening, rate, share, subscribe. If you're listening, you could also watch BigMood TV. Thanks if you're on live. Thank you for watching. That was dope. We're gonna be doing the podcast live. We'll do it all the time, right? Why not? Do the podcast live, and we'll post it. You can catch the recorded on Thursday. So we're wrapping it up. Eric _BigMood Coach on Instagram. We up out of here. Peace.